Listen to this guitar phrase. Other than the amp plugin and some reverb, this is the raw tone with no delay processing. Now hear it with a standard digital delay at the end of the chain. And now the Galaxy Tape Echo. Did you hear that? The digital delay repeats the note. The tape echo transforms it, adds warmth, movement, dimension. Those repeats aren't just quieter copies, they're alive, they drift, they breathe. Today, I'm going to show you exactly why that happens, the engineering inside the Roland RE-201 Space Echo that Universal Audio captured in the Galaxy Tape Echo, and how to dial in settings for both atmospheric depth and punchy slapback in your own mixes. Hello and welcome to Kinetic Sound, where we embrace the idea that we don't start off as professionals, but we can all become pros through practice and knowledge. To understand why this plugin sounds the way it does, we need to go back to the man who started it all. In 1930, a boy named Ikutaro Kakehashi was born in Osaka, Japan. Both of his parents died of tuberculosis when he was just 2 years old. Raised by his grandparents during wartime, young Kakehashi spent his childhood studying electrical engineering while working as a laborer in the Hitachi shipyards. He had no formal musical training whatsoever, but he became obsessed with building radios so he could listen to music on short-wave broadcasts. At 16, after being fired from a watch repair apprenticeship for trying to learn too fast, he bought a textbook and opened his own competing shop. That stubborn, self-taught spirit would define everything he built. In 1960, Kakehashi founded Ace Electronic Industries, better known as Ace Tone, producing electronic organs and early effects units. By 1972, he founded the Roland Corporation. He deliberately chose the name Roland, a Western name with 2 syllables and soft consonants. By flipping through a Yellow Pages directory, he wanted something easy to pronounce in every language for a company designed from day one to be a global exporter. Under Kakehashi's leadership, Roland would produce some of the most iconic instruments in the music industry: the TR-808, the TR-909, the TB-303, the Jupiter 8, and the Boss Pedals line. In 1983, Kakehashi co-invented MIDI alongside David Smith of Sequential Circuits, earning both men a Technical Grammy Award in 2013. Now, by the early 1970s, tape delay already existed, but it was a nightmare. The Maestro Echoplex used short fixed-length tape loop under constant tension. The tape snapped, degraded, and required constant maintenance. The Benson Echo Rec avoided tape entirely by using a rotating magnetic drum, but it had its own reliability issues and limited flexibility. Neither device could survive serious touring. Roland's first tape echoes, the RE-100 and the RE-200 in 1973, still used the old short loop design inherited from Acetone, but in 1974, Roland released the RE-201 and everything changed. The RE-201 Secret was a completely redesigned, free-running tape transport. Instead Instead of a short loop under constant stress, the RE-201 used a longer loop of quarter-inch tape that spooled freely into a large internal chamber. A single capstan motor pulled the tape through at variable speed, and when the bypass foot switch was engaged, the tape stopped entirely, preserving its life. This was paired with one record head and 3 separate play heads at fixed distances along the tape path. A 12-position mode selector offering every combination of those heads plus a built-in spring reverb and a solid-state preamp whose harmonic saturation became part of the sound itself. The RE-201 remained in production from 1974 to 1990, a remarkable 16-year run. So, what actually makes tape echoes sound so different from the digital delays? It comes down to 4 things that digital delays deliberately eliminate and tape echo deliberately embrace. First, whoa and flutter. The capstan motor in the RE-201 doesn't spin at a perfectly constant speed. There are tiny, continuous variations in tape speed caused by the mechanical imperfections, the motor, the bearings, and the tape tension. Whoa refers to slower speed variations, and flutter refers to faster ones. Together, they create subtle pitch modulation in the echoes. The repeats aren't static copies, they shimmer and drift. This is the single biggest reason tape echo sounds alive compared to digital delays. Digital delays repeat the signal with mathematical precision. Tape echoes repeat it with organic imperfection. Second, tape saturation and high-frequency roll-off. Every time the signal passes through the record and playback heads, the tape compresses the dynamics slightly and rolls off high frequencies. Each repeat is a little warmer, a little softer, and a little further away. Audio journalist Paul White described it perfectly. He said the echoes were warm and didn't get in the way of the original sound. This natural degradation creates the perception that echoes are physically receding into space, not just getting quieter. Digital delay, by contrast, produces identical copies that sit at the same depth as the original. Third, the 3 playback heads. Because the heads are at fixed physical distances from the record head, activating different combinations creates rhythmically complex delay patterns. Head 1 gives the shortest delay, 69 to about 177 milliseconds. Head 2 is roughly double that, and head 3 is the longest. The 12-position mode selector lets you combine any set of heads with or without the spring reverb, giving you everything from tight slapback to cascading polyrhythmic echoes from a single unit. And fourth, how Universal Audio captured all of this. UA spent over a year developing the Galaxy Tape Echo. They sourced a specific RE-201 unit, their golden unit, serviced it to optimal condition, and then modeled every quirk at the component level. That includes the tape splice point, where the loop is physically joined, which creates a subtle dropout and bump as it passes over the playheads. The plugin even has a splice button to trigger this on demand. The plugin also adds something the hardware never had: a tape age switch with 3 positions: new, used, and ode. New tape is clean and stable with minimal wall and flutter. Used adds more warmth, modulation, and subtle degradation. Ode pushes into dark, warbly, unpredictable territory, like a tape that's been running through the machine for months. This single control lets you dial in everything from pristine echoes to lo-fi texture without hunting for a worn-out vintage unit. It's worth noting that Roland themselves released a RE-201 plugin using their Cosm modeling technology, and Boss makes the RE-202 pedal. What distinguishes UA's approach is their comprehensive component level modeling: the tape splice, the motor speed ramping when you turn the echo rate knob, the preamp saturation curve. These subtle behaviors are what make the Galaxy Tape Echo feel like a living instrument rather rather than a preset machine. So now that you have all the details of what the controls do, let's bring up the plugin on screen and dive into an immersive demonstration. I'll play music through the Galaxy Tape Echo and show you exactly how these controls affect the audio signal in real time. Watch as I adjust the parameters. I'll focus on the specific values, explain what those numbers mean technically, and show you why they matter for mastering this tool. This hands-on approach will give you the technical understanding you need to control this plugin. Let's dive in and take a closer look. Let's start with the guitar from Players in Space, our demo track inspired by Radiohead's atmospheric style. First, the guitar with just the amp sim and reverb, no tape echo. Now I'll engage the Galaxy Tape Echo. Head select is positioned at 8. That's heads 1 and 2 combined with the spring reverb. Tempo sync is engaged so that the echoes lock to our project's BPM, though you may notice the head LEDs blinking, which means that the plugin is approximating the timing because the fixed physical head distances can't always hit a perfect note value. That's the hardware modeling at work. Echo rate is at 11 o'clock. Feedback is at 1 o'clock. Enough repeats to build atmosphere without runaway oscillation. Bass is set slightly above 12 o'clock to keep the low-end warmth in the echoes. Treble is slightly below 12, rolling off just a touch of high end, so the repeats sit behind the dry signal. Echo volume is at 1 o'clock, reverb volume around 10 to 11 o'clock for a subtle wash, and input value is between 10 and 11 o'clock, backed off enough to keep the peak lamp from lighting up. We want clean atmospheric echoes here, not preamp grit. But if you're after more warmth, saturation, or even some crunchy harshness like classic dub engineers used to do, push that input volume past 12 o'clock until the peak lamp starts blinking. That's the plugin modeling the analog preamp clipping from the original hardware. It's not an error, it's a creative tool. Just bring down the output volume to compensate so you're not slamming your DAW's channel strip into digital clipping, which doesn't sound nearly as nice. Tape age is set to used for that sweet spot of character. Echo pan is nudged slightly right to create width. Hear how the echoes drift and modulate. That's the whoa and flutter from the used tape setting. Watch the spectrum analyzer. You can see the high frequencies rolling off with each repeat. The echoes aren't fighting the dry signal, they're supporting it from behind, creating depth. Now, let's switch to a completely different application, slapback echo on the rim shot. Here's the rim shot without the echo engaged. For slapback, the settings are totally different. Head select is positioned at 1, that's head 1 only, no reverb. Tempo sync is on here too. Echo rate is at 2 o'clock, a short slapback delay, just enough to thicken the hit without creating a distinct repeat. Feedback is at 9 o'clock, minimal repeats, just 1 or 2. Bass and treble are both at 12 o'clock, neutral. Echo volume is around 12 to 1 o'clock. Reverb volume is at minimum. Tape age is set to new for a clean type slapback. That's the classic slapback sound, one quick repeat that makes the rim shot pop and snap without cluttering the mix. Now, let me show you what the tape age switch does on the guitar part. Same settings, I'll just toggle between new, used, and ode. That's new and clean and stable. Used, warmer, more movement. And ode, dark, warbly, and beautifully unpredictable. Watch the analyzer. You can literally see the high frequency content decreasing and the modulation increasing as we move from new to ode. Now, before we wrap up, here's what the complete track sounds like with both Galaxy Tape Echo engaged and all 4 tracks playing together. No analyzer, no spectrum views, just the music. tape echo in context, atmospheric guitar echoes, and punchy slapback rim shots working together in a single mix. If you're getting some value from this video, please let me know by clicking the like button. Also, subscribe to the channel if you wish to see more videos like this. Don't forget to click on the notification button so you'll be alerted each time I post a new video. I've got many more plugins to cover in the future, so you'll want to definitely see those. I'd love to know, which tape age setting do you prefer? Drop a comment below and let me know if you're a new tape purist or an old tape lover. I've also put together a complete deep dive document on the Galaxy Tape Echo and the RE-201, along with a set of flashcards and a quiz to test your understanding, all completely free. Head over to the link in the description to grab these valuable freebies. It's my way of saying thanks for spending the time watching this video. So let's bring it all together now. Tape echo sounds different from digital delay because of 4 things digital deliberately removes: whoa and flutter that add pitch modulation, tape saturation that warms and compresses each repeat, high frequency roll-off that creates natural depth, and the mechanical characters of real tape transport. The Galaxy Tape Echo captures all of that from UA's golden unit RE-201 and adds modern conveniences like tape age control, stereo panning, and tempo sync. Whether you're building atmospheric soundscapes or adding punchy slapback, understanding the engineering behind these controls is what separates dialing in a preset from crafting your own signature sound. My next video will be covering the 5 best UA plugins for professional mixes that actually replace hardware. It's a curated roundup of the highest ROI tools in the UAD ecosystem. So don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell. And until then, keep practicing, keep learning, and I'll see you in the next one.